Hello everybody and welcome back to Games Over Explained. Today we're going to be getting back to going medieval in our settlement of Wythenshawe. Have a few things on the menu to do today. On the previous episode, we pretty much got these paths laid down, knocked out this little storage area here, as well as expanded, or rather built a bridge, and started our quarry, which revealed iron. Which we're really excited about. Our main goal right now is still to collect limestone. But we have some other things that we can kind of make some moves on while we're waiting for that to happen. So we're gonna get started. First and foremost, I need to have them start digging out some more space here around the limestone. So we're gonna get that going here. I just wanna run out one more block around for now. And let's actually make this 2. Changed my mind immediately. I want to actually go out 2. We want to make sure this is good and deep, and I really want to see how far this iron extends here. We are going to have to chop this tree down, so let's go ahead and assign that as well. And we will give them an opportunity to get started on that. The other thing we need to address today, it's a major item, is the smelting furnace. We went ahead and unlocked it on the previous episode because of the discovery of all of our iron. So what I really want to do is go ahead and get that going today so that we have the opportunity to start using this iron as soon as we can get to it. So to start that, we're actually just going to take one of these guys here, and I'm going to use a clay wall. A part of me wants to use the limestone, but I actually think the clay might end up looking a little nicer. So we'll go ahead and do that. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to run this off the side here. We're going to just start with, let's do an 8 by 8 to begin. And I actually think, let me think here. We want to double brace this wall just because, went on a little too far there. Simply because we want to make sure that we actually have the space to drop a roof on. So I want to make sure that we have enough area to do that. We could use a pillar there, or rather a, what do they call it? A wooden beam. We're actually, let's try that. Let's see if we can get the wooden beam to work with us here. Cancel these guys. All right, and they should get started on that. Let's go ahead and drop in our door as well. Let's use, we don't have enough iron ingot for a grated door, but I do think that would be aesthetically the most pleasing. But we'll let them go ahead and get that. Drop in our beam here for our roof. And then I'm thinking, let's see what our options are here. Maybe a wicker roof, would that look nice? No, I think probably stick with our thatched roof for now, since that's kind of the motif that we have in the rest of the settlement here. And let's make sure it's rotated correctly. Yeah, that's it. All right. So that should give us a half roof that'll go up against the other building, and that should get us taken care of there. So the next thing we need to do is go ahead and drop in this wooden floor. And actually the limestone floor would probably look a little better here. So let's do that instead, just to give it that really forgey kind of appeal to it. I think that's really the aesthetic that we're going for. So we'll see what happens here. It looks like all of them are going to focus on that instead of, nope, they've dug out a little bit over here. And look, there's some more iron down here. So that is great news. Thanks, Adalbert, for getting that taken care of. The other thing we want to do is we have 476 limestone. I think it's probably worth going ahead and finishing our path over to the quarry itself. So let's get this built here. You'll note that I'm keeping it high and tight up here against this other building. That's just because I want to make sure that we don't get into this coal too much. We are going to have to dig that out at some point. Our 360 coal is not going to last forever. And the other thing we're going to need to do is remove this guy. So they are going to be doing a lot of digging this episode, and there's likely to be a lot of time lapses because that's going to be boring. But we will proceed and try to endure. So let's go ahead and, okay, we're cutting the bush down here. So that's good news. Let's go ahead and fast forward through this, and I'll be right back. Was fast forwarding through this, but they ran out of hay in order to build this. But I do think this is going to end up looking really sharp. So we are going to have to track down some hay because I did not plant any. So let's go ahead and start designating some of these guys for harvest. I typically don't plant a ton of hay just because, one, it takes up a ton of storage space, and two, it's normally pretty easy to track down. So we've got some growing over here, and it's ready for harvesting. So we'll go ahead and grab these guys and let them get started on that. We've got lots and lots and lots of clay piles back here, but I think we're good on clay. Yeah, we're just missing the hay. So we'll let them get going on that, and hopefully it doesn't take them too long. Let's see, what are you still working on, Oswald? Still, they were either doing the wooden beam. Yeah, I think they're doing the wooden beam here. So we'll let them finish that up. And we're getting started on the path over here, which is awesome. I'm really hoping there's a lot of iron down here, because now that we have the caravan unlocked, thanks to the cartography table, which was another thing that we unlocked last week, we should be able to start doing some trading, which we really need because we're always running out of alcohol. In fact, I think, yep, we are out of alcohol again. And right now the big focus is with, we're on day 8 of autumn here. So we need to really be kind of knuckling down for winter and not really gonna have a ton of options in the way of food. We do have a bunch of cabbage in the cellar. And so I'm hoping that will be our saving grace, and they'll be able to go through and kind of cook some of that into meals over the winter. We're gonna have to do our best to survive. We probably should make an adjustment here. I don't know if we need the coal. What I'll actually do is I'll probably put a coal storeroom in here. That way they have access to it easily for the forge. So we can get that taken care of right now. All right, so that's done. It's odd because I don't think the roof is finished. Oh, it is. Nice. I was just zoomed in too much. Cool. All right, so that gets that taken care of. The next thing we're going to do is drop in our smelting furnace. Let me grab this here. We can build it out of clay or limestone at the moment, since we have more clay than limestone. Or we don't really have more clay than limestone, but we will. And we want the limestone for another project, so we're going to try our best not to use it up too much. Let's go ahead and drop in this smelting furnace here. And then, like I said, I'm going to build a little stockpile over on this side. Let's actually take this out. Out 3. It helps if you actually click the stockpile first. We will take that out to 3. That way it is stored in here. We don't have much in the way of decoration yet because I keep refusing to unlock decorations in our research. But what I can do is I can get a torch put up. So let's do a wooden wall torch, and we'll just do one on either side of the door here. They do have heat consequences, so that should light the place up enough in theory. And they will get that started. Let's see, how are we doing on our path, guys? Ooh, really, really well. That's fantastic news. And they've already torn this down here, so now we can go ahead and drop our limestone floor all the way across. And that's just gonna clean up their traversal. See, I said it correctly this episode. If you didn't see last episode, I said transversal, and I actually looked that up after the episode. It has something to do with geometry, so I was way, way off base. Probably should have put a little editor's note in there, but that's all right. Let's go ahead and drop our floor over here so they have a path over to the forge itself. And of course, this mixed material looks a little weird, but I do like the idea a lot of building the forge out of clay. I think it kind of fits the high heat motif that you would find, or the environment that you would find in a forge area. Sorry, I'm trying to figure out why they're running straight to work. I guess they are allowed to do anything if they're not hungry. So whatever, I guess. let them go ahead and do that. And then I think actually we'll end up taking this out another 2 blocks nope, 3 blocks. That'll line us up with this guy here, which is our main objective ultimately, because this will end up just being one giant quarry. So let's go ahead and do that and let them get started. Hopefully they don't do the thing where they strand themselves in the middle here. They are going to be working on this for quite some time. So let's discuss a little more about kind of what we're planning on here. I've been kind of alluding to the fact that we really need to get a church built. For that, we are going to have to do some unlocking. So if I remember correctly, it's under decorative structures. Yes. Okay. So to actually have a church built, we will need to unlock decorative structures. I do think that it's probably worth going ahead and doing that. And that should get us taken care of on getting the correct materials here. So sorry, I lost my train of thought there. We do need to go ahead and build the starting of the church, which we will get started at near the end of this episode, I'm hoping. But I have kind of done a pre-build of it and it looks pretty sharp. Was he just down there and then popped back up? I'm not sure if my eyes just saw the correct thing. Either way, we will try and get started on that this episode. So hopefully we can get to that point. So I'm gonna actually fast forward through this a little bit, let them kind of buzz along, do their thing. What are you building? Let's see, let's take a look. Are you finishing the cartography table? Oh, I guess. Whoops. I guess I loaded the wrong save. That's right. That's really the only thing that we ended up not getting at the end of the episode. So that's a little embarrassing, but I guess it is what it is. We'll let them get through this and I will be right back with you. So it looks like we actually have some merchants in town. So I am going to slow this down just a little bit and see if I can grab one of our settlers here. I'm sorry, I have to look at the speechcraft again. Let me take a look here. Speechcraft 8, your speechcraft 7, 9, 5, 7. So it's Sinmund, which is good timing because it looks like he's on his way back, hauling some stone from the stockpile, or to the stockpile, I suppose. And we'll let him go ahead and drop that. Okay, perfect. So let me pause for a second just so I can actually grab the right guy. I want you to go barter with this guy. So let's buzz through this, let him run up since he's taking forever to get up here. All right, let's take a look at what we got here. We know we need more alcohol, so let's hope that they have alcohol available for us. Ooh, we might be out of luck. It looks like they just have a lot of clothes. Superior leather winter clothes. I don't know if we could even afford that at this point. They do have textbooks and herbs, things that we don't have, but I don't know if we have a ton of need for them right now. We can't generate textbooks yet, I think. Yeah, we're only doing the Chronicles right now. This is a later game research material. Well, I guess, my good sir, that is everything. I don't think we have anything that we could really purchase from them that we desperately need. Healing kits may not be the worst. Let's see, we are at 7 for simple healing kits, and the regular ones do a lot more. But, yeah, no, I think we'll be okay. We'll be okay without what they're offering here. And actually, let's see, do we have weapons for everyone? We do. Okay, yeah, so we're good without having anybody do any trading or anything. Let's check on the progress of these guys. Ooh, there's more limestone on this side. So maybe the iron only extends out this way? I guess we'll find out here in just a moment once they continue to dig. So while we were working on the quarry, it looks like we had another settler opportunity. So let's take a look at this. It says, Salvation, the Church of the Third Coming. Whether it was the Third Coming seeking a poor sinner to make an example of or some other zealots was unclear. Elizabeth raved about religion, torture, escape, but the details were confused. What would you give them refuge? Danger might ensue. So obviously we have the option to slam the door. Let's take a look. Mining 21, we did just get another miner. So, you know, that's possibly good. It does mean another attack, which is 1 archer and 1 marauder, or 5 marauders. And normally I've seen that archer number goes up by 1, as we saw in our last raid. So I'm thinking we probably don't need Elizabeth desperately right now, especially with winter coming. I think it's probably a good idea just to let her go. You get to see a sneak preview here of the quarry and the progress we've made along. I am carving these guys out here so we can get some stone stairs put in place. We are having some annoyed issues, and again, it's because of the religious activities thing. So we're just kind of trying to get the limestone built up so we can actually build up the beginnings of our church. One cool little thing that I found when I was looking through here is there's a shiny little vein here, and this is gold, which is very cool. I'm excited to get into that and accumulate some wealth for the settlement. Hopefully that can contribute to our trading endeavors in the future. So we are going to get back to building. All right, so we are back. As you might have noticed, it is winter. We are on day 2 at this point. I just wanted to get through all of this digging portion. It's not particularly interesting. They just finished it up. And as you might have noticed, let me drop these stairs in real quick. Yeah, Noda's unconscious. We are going through a cold snap. And during a cold snap, everything's colder. As you can see, it's negative 33 degrees in here, or out here. So it's quite cold. It's probably not particularly pleasant. They're gonna continue to fall unconscious and not be particularly happy with me. I did have to take some precautions while you guys were gone. A couple things I did. I put some torches in here, which will help heat the room. You can see up in the top right-hand corner, it says that it's negative 36 degrees outside, but if you hover in here, it's 11.5. Still not the warmest it could be, but it is warmer than it is outside. So once they make it to bed, they're good to go. Albert is getting extremely unhappy with us because he had to eat raw food. Is nobody prioritizing cooking? Yeah, so we are struggling a little bit in the way of prioritization. A lot of that has to do with the fact that I just had them clean this whole area out, which now that it is done, they just need to focus on building these steps down into the quarry itself, and they should be good to go. The other thing that I did off camera is I changed this default stockpile here to just accept coal. This is our coal stockpile. If you break down through here, you can see under material, raw material, the only thing we're accepting right now is coal. And the other thing I did was I realized that down here in our cellar, I had not actually set it to move the clay and limestone out of here. So I went ahead and did that, and I also set it to move coal out of here. That way they will eventually start moving all of these items out of here, and we can use that specifically for food storage and some other stuff until we have a place to put some of the more specific things. So they are cooking and making some food. I do think it's a higher priority. So let's take a look at what we have in terms of things to do. Yeah, see, Albert is trying to cook food, or at least that's what he's supposed to be doing. What is he actually doing? Getting resources. Why are you getting resources? You're cooking. Okay, excellent, excellent. So right now the production speed is not good because they are outside in the snow. We are gonna have to work towards cooking, which will give us the hearth and lavish meal. That is gonna require 30 research, so we're gonna go ahead and put in an order for 25. And that should get us to being able to unlock cooking. I do think it's probably a worthy investment of time. As you can see here, we built up quite the limestone collection. We're up to 3,500 limestone, and that's not even including all the limestone just sitting down here in the quarry that they have yet to collect. So we're looking pretty good on that. So let's let them do this deal here. And yeah, they're suffering from cold. There's not a lot I can do about it outside of get some warming items in here because it's 15.7. These are much colder. So inside, I think what we can probably do is put in some braziers or braziers. I'm not really sure. I don't think it's braziers. Let's put these braziers in here and let them build that. That way we have some warmth inside, and we'll go ahead and drop a couple in here as well. Is that the stairs? Yeah, okay. I was like, man, did we have a collapse already? I'm so paranoid all the time that we're gonna have some sort of collapse. So let's go ahead and drop these guys in the corners here just to get some warmth in this room. Hopefully it will make a significant difference. Is anyone gonna go get Sinmund? Where is he? He's back awake. Okay, excellent. So realistically, yeah, some of them have issues with hypothermia now. So we got through our food issues. Now we're gonna have to deal with cold problems. And this is because I decided not to research tailoring in time. So everyone is working with okay winter clothes. Good linen winter, good wool, good leather, or fine leather, good leather. Yeah, so the clothes do modifiers on their cold resistance. So let me show you what that looks like here in the menu. Let's pick out Albert since he is the noisiest of them. And if we come under inventory, you can see here that there is a temperature range. Minimum comfortable temperature, it's the base attribute plus their clothes. So in his case, he has a clothes that reduces his minimum comfortable temperature by 37 degrees Fahrenheit, which puts us at 19 at his minimum. All of the settlers have their own base attribute. Some of them like it warm, some of them like it cold. The cold snap has ended, so I'm really hoping that this is going to get better with some time here. Let them go ahead and collect some of this limestone. And let's make sure, one last check, that we've put out at least some torches. Yes, Albert's waiting. Yeah, he's convalescing. So the ones that have frostbite or hypothermia are gonna probably want to recover first. We don't have any torches in these production rooms, so let's go ahead and get that done real quick just to make sure that there's some heat being generated in here. Now that the cold snap's over, it won't be as big of an issue, but it is going to continue to snow and still be just generally cold. So we want to try and reduce the hypothermia issue the most. Otherwise, they spend all day convalescing. They don't have to. I can choose not to have them convalesce, but I think it's probably the smart thing to do so we don't lose anybody over the winter. Now, the temperature is dropping, but hopefully we'll have to keep an eye and see how they respond here, because they might end up just going back inside before it gets too cold. Of course, it gets colder when it snows, so we'll have to just monitor that as time goes on here. Okay, and it's the dawn of a new day. We have beautiful weather. It's time to build. We're going to get started first by building the path out just a little bit. We're gonna go with 12, and that should bring this wing out. And actually, I lied. I need to make this just a little longer. So that's gonna be a total of 16. And that is gonna be how we start. Bring this path down like so to about here. And that will get us started. So we are building a church. So the idea of this church is that it's going to be dual purpose. Since there are two main religions in this game, if I can ever find where I'm supposed to be looking, the Restitutionists and the Oak Brethren. So this church is going to kind of serve as a dual purpose. That way we have both religions represented. And I think that's going to be extremely helpful in terms of managing these guys and just trying to be conscientious of our space. So let's go ahead and get started with the walls. The first thing we're going to do is we are going to drop doors in like so. And I've kind of got this all measured out and built, and you won't be able to see it, but I do have a guide that I've kind of built. So we're going to try and follow that, because I've already built this once just to make sure it made sense. So this guy here, we need to bring this out 9. Of course, it's snowing again, but now we have our reference points. So this should be good to get started. And of course, I said this is correct, but It is not. I do have this measured out, and I have this all kind of planned. However, I misread my notes, so we are going to call a bit of a mulligan on that. Bring this out like this. Then we will do the extensions like this. And that is to be 4. And then this will be, it's gonna be easier if I measure this all in one go. And that should be 9 across like so. And to finish this out, this will be another 9 across. If I can get my measurements right here. Yep, just like that. And then we'll bring this across like so for now. That will end up changing in the future. And we are gonna have to do some demolition here to get this lined up correctly. But it's gonna look great when it's done. So we're gonna let them get started on that. And of course it's nighttime, so we're kind of stuck waiting on them. But there's a few more adjustments we need to make here. The first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna finish out the interior, which will be very confusing to them because I'm basically sealing them in. And to help with that, we're gonna get rid of these 2 pieces here and put our doors in. Not quite like that. We're gonna put it in the correct place where doors belong, in between walls. And that should give them an opportunity to get working on all of this. And we're gonna build this in phases. We're gonna start with the front entrance area, which I do have plans for. So that area is gonna get built first, and then we will do the rear extension after that. But I don't wanna get super involved in a big project because this is gonna be quite large and end up in a position where they're just not doing anything else. They're not focusing and not getting stuff taken care of like they're supposed to. So we are going to focus in on this first. And once they've gotten this area built, we'll be able to move on to that next phase. We are gonna have to clear this shrub out. So we'll go ahead and cut that. I don't think there's anything else that I can see in the area, but the easiest way to take care of that is to go ahead and tell them to drop in this wooden floor. It's gonna complain that I don't have enough resources for this, so we may have to do some logging to accommodate for that, but that's okay. And they are going to start. Beautiful, it's thawing out just in time, so they'll be able to enjoy. We've got our good coal chunk here, which will look great next to our big, fantastic church. So I'm going to do a bit of a time lapse on this and let them catch up, and then we will proceed. All right, so we've made some good progress here on the facility. I did have to take a break for a second and cut down some trees. As predicted, we were not going to have enough wood to finish this job. And in the meantime, we do have another traveling merchant to discuss wares with. So let's see what he's got available. Okay, so he's got rough wine, which is much more in our price range. It's only 2, but we'll take it. Let's see. What else do we have? Wooden traps, which are quite expensive. Holy smokes. Herbs, and it looks like that's it. So we don't have a ton of cabbage left, and he doesn't accept coal, which is unfortunate. We may go ahead and burn up some of our cabbage. Let's see. What do we owe the guy? Not much. So let's go ahead and give him 3 cabbages. That's plenty. Call it a day. We need the alcohol really bad. We are starting to... I was going to say we are starting to build a surplus, but we aren't. We're going to have to probably increase our brewing. Right now, it's not brewing because we don't have any crops. So we're just going to have to go through. We are going to plant some berry bushes or red currant bushes in the springtime, which is just around the corner. And that's going to allow us to actually be able to keep up with some of the workload that we currently have. So just taking a look over here, they're almost finished with these guys. We got a few walls left to put up, a lot of flooring to be done, but the flooring typically goes pretty quick. So I don't expect this to take too terribly much longer, which I'm very excited about. I'm excited to get to this build. It's just an unfortunate thing with this game where it takes a while to get building. So you just kind of have to roll with it. But that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna roll with it. We are probably gonna need to start our iron production in the near future. They have started moving the coal out into the coal storage area inside our, I guess, what is it, forge? Yeah, there's the word. So once we get past some of these initial building phases, we'll be able to get started on that. It looks like I got the symmetry down on this building, which I'm really excited about because it was going to be a bit of a chore. Not too bad. We do have a lot more to go, and it's definitely not all gonna fit in this episode. We are unfortunately starting to run out of time, but I do want to give them an opportunity to finish this build once they are done sleeping, because of course we're at the end of the day. So as I was saying, we're probably going to build a kitchen over on this wing here. Once the church is done, I have some plans for how to decorate the area. Some other things that we're going to need to build in the near future are definitely more housing, and I'm actually thinking we're going to have to relocate this stockpile because I almost kind of want to do row housing. The ultimate goal is to be able to build a wall around the majority of our facility, including the church. So it's going to be interesting to kind of get this situated. It's not going to be a perfectly boxed wall, but we're going to have to get a little creative on how we want to set the area up. But I think it's going to end up turning out really nice. There's going to be a lot more stuff that we need to build, things like an armory. I think some of that stuff's going to fit into the castle. Just kind of trying to give you guys a preview of what's to come. I do want to take a look at the temperature in here. Yeah, it's 62 in here now that we have these braziers up. And down here it is 71. So we've got a lot going on here. The torches don't put out nearly as much heat. In fact, if you click on these guys and you look at the info, it'll tell you heat output. Torches are 150. And if you look at these braziers, they're 1500. So it's a huge difference in how much heat output you get. So we just have to kind of work around that. The torches, I like the aesthetic of a little more. I mean, the braziers are nice, and there's much nicer versions down the line in the game that you can get. But for now, these little clay ones aren't bad, especially since we have a lot of clay and not a lot to do with it. So it looks like they are going to start planting the cabbage. I don't think it'll grow when it gets cold again. Well, it depends on how cold it gets, because everything has a temperature that it will grow at. And I don't know if it'll actually tell us. Well, oh, I did not mean to place that. Let's get rid of that. They're already planting the cabbage over here, but what I really want to do is get our crop fields laid out next. Of course, it's snowing, so now we can't see anything, but let's see. Nope, we're not able to cheese it either. Well, I suppose we can guesstimate if we can find the paths. So there's one. There's some space there. We may just have to wait until it's not snowing, because I personally am going to struggle with this, not being able to see. Oh, if we zoom in, we'll be able to see it better. Of course. Okay. This is excellent. So what I want to do here is I want to lay down some success for the future. We are going to get rid of that cabbage field out back, and we're going to replace it with some other crop items that we can develop. So let's do cabbage, and then we'll do carrots over here, and we'll do some beets over here. Can only be placed on appropriate ground type. What's over here? Rocky soil. Yeah, so it can only grow on actual grass, which most of this is. So we're gonna keep leveraging that. What else do we have here? So we are gonna have berry bushes, which we are gonna want a lot of. So we're gonna dedicate this largest crop field here to our berry bushes, because they are going to take up the most amount of space. And because we're using it right now as our primary source of alcohol production, we are going to throw some barley out as well. And then I'd like to just do a little herb field over here. We're not going to use a bunch of herbs, and a lot of this over here is rocky soil, so we can't use it all that much, but it does give us a nice little base to work off of. And I think actually, since we're still early on, I'm going to have them, is this already ready to cut? Yeah, okay. So I'm gonna have them go ahead and destroy this field, because I think really we're gonna be happy with what we've got for now. And this will give us an opportunity to be able to expand this out a little farther. I don't suppose they need to harvest it. I'm not sure how this is gonna work, to be honest. Let's see. Can we deconstruct? No. Okay. So yeah, we will have to harvest it. I don't know if there's going to be any real benefit to it. I don't think we're going to get anything for it. Nope. It might just end up growing, and we'll just deal with that. But now we've got everyone out planting. We've got the start of our church started. Let me scroll back so you guys can see everything from a full view. So we have the church started. We have our fields laid out. We will probably end up connecting this at some point and adding more field, but for the time being, this is what we have to work with. So we are going to have all these guys growing in. We finished out our quarry and expanded it out. Some of it's got some grass underneath, which is a little disappointing. We really wanted some more limestone, but that's okay. We'll work around it. Our discovery of gold makes it very much worth it, as well as seeing all this iron down here. Just feels really promising, though it is running this way, so I'm wondering how much we're going to end up finding this direction. But that's all right. We can explore that as we get to it. We also finished connecting up our paths, as well as reorganizing our stockpiles a bit so that this accommodates our coal. And we also went ahead and put in our smelting facility, even though we're not quite ready to use it yet. At least it's there. It's waiting for us. And we also went through and did all of our heating for the buildings. Now, of course, it's about to be spring, which means we won't need it as much, but it'll still be nice to have that done. So that's kind of the gist of everything we did today. We're going to start at year 2 on the next episode, which is very exciting. Now that we kind of have our basis built and we're in a really good spot having all of these things ready, we can kind of pick away at building out our church area to relieve the religion issue that we're currently having, as well as continue to expand out our quarry and get into this iron so we can start trading. Once these bushes start coming in a little better, we'll also be able to start building our brewing up a little bit, so we won't have to rely on traders anymore quite as much, and we'll also get started on our kitchen at some point in the very near future. So that's gonna be it for this episode. I know it probably had a lot of fast forwards. Fortunately, it's the nature of the game. I hope it didn't change the viewing quality of the game. I actually really love this game. It's hard to really capture how much fun it is outside of just building stuff. So sometimes you get the monotonous bit where you gotta grind it out and collect some things, but that's okay. I really like this game a lot. So in lieu of rambling on, this is gonna be the end of the episode. If you liked this video, please consider giving it a like. If you would like to see more content like this, please hit the subscribe button or drop a comment. Anything that you contribute really helps the channel, and I will be eternally grateful. Again, this is Games Over Explained, playing Going Medieval, and I'll see you next week.